What is up, YouTube Nation? This is Havoc the Emo, the collector fiend that runs this scene, and today is December 31st, the final day of 2023, and about to start a new chapter of collecting and playing and being broke. So, I talked about how I wanted to do a little bit of a mixture video between my favorite figures throughout the years, the 12 days of Christmas, as I would put it, and Hasbro did that favorite figure from every core class in a bracket kind of thing, the layout, whatever, and I wanted to mix the two, make reviews of each character that I feel fell best in those price points between 8 to 12 videos. Unfortunately, I just found my tripod. I don't have enough time to make all of those videos by tomorrow. So I'm just going to sit down and I'm going to do a talkie. I'm going to sit down, make a little FaceTime to you. I got my notepad here. I got my list. I'm going to just make a little few highlights, put a picture of them over here around that area. And yeah, let's go down to it. Without a further ado, let's get this video through. All right. We already did a video and a review on my 10th favorite character on this list, starting at number 10, and that would be Legacy Core Class Bombburst, the only package refresh that is on this list because I don't have any other core figures, and I wanted to make I wanted to try to exclude package refreshes, and make it more of new figures. But the only core class I have from this year again is the Bombburst. Everything I had to say about Bombburst was in that review, but just a quick analysis from it. Cool figure, not a lot happening since it's a core class, but I definitely like the design of it. Not a whole lot more to be said. Go check out the review if you're interested in an extensive character breakdown of him and just comparisons and how we got to the design that we ended up getting to. Number 9, being a little low on this list, I will say, and it only falls to an engineering standpoint, and that he wasn't necessarily a toy that was in high demand, but we got anyway. And that goes down to Origins Jazz. Don't get me wrong, Jazz is my boy. One of my favorite bots in the G1 series. I cannot get enough of Jazz. Love Jazz as a character. His energy, his vibe, always kicking it. You know what I mean, Prime? Like, he has that energy, you know. Just him and Blaster always blasting up the tunes. So I love the character. Did anybody ask for an Origins version of that character? Some people. But, you know, we were all surprised to see that we did get one. The only reason that he kind of falls down to a little bit over his list is from an engineering standpoint. He's very shell formery. His vehicle mode basically resides on his back and in his thighs. You know, a panel flips out here, his back flips up here, and then his whole body just kind of folds together and he's a vehicle now. Still a great looking figure, great looking vehicle mode, but engineering standpoint, a little low. Which is why he falls a little bit lower on the list. But I'm grateful we got an Origins Jazz, and I hope that we continue this. I know we're getting Origins Wheeljack, but give them to me all. Give me an Origins Optimus. I want that concept. Just lay it on me, Hasbro. But yeah, cool aspects. He got that cool grappling hook. He got that gun. He looks cool. Got a little bit of a backpack, but other than that, like, he looks like Jazz. What more could you want? All right, going up to number 8, we are going to Animated Universe Prowl. I just think he's a cool figure, cool character. When I first watched Animated, let's see, Anime came out around like what, 2008-ish. So I've been 8. I was born in the year 2000, if that helps anybody. So I was literally in the age group they were aiming for, but for whatever reason, it was something about the animation I couldn't get behind at the time. It wasn't until I was 17 until I rewatched animated and loved that storyline. And Prowl was such a great character. Loved everything that they did with Prowl, the ninja-ness, this like the ninja aspect of him, the sleekness. And I had three of the animated toys. I had the standard one, I had the Samurai Prowl one, and there was this another one I had, and it had the stoplight thing with it. So really cool figure. Coming up to getting a modern version of it, showing animated some love, and now we have that modern toy, which you could still very much see that it is supposed to be animated, just a little more chunky. A lot of people don't like the thickness of it. They're like, "Oh, he's too thick, and his helmet's too big." And I don't think his helmet's too big. I think it's the same size, but they made his jaw shorter, and people are not used to having like a normal size head. Like, he usually has like that really big jaw, which kind of makes the top of his head seem smaller than it was. But I personally, I like the toy. I like how he still has his weapons that go on the sides, shurikens. So I had to think of the word. He still has shurikens that go to the side of his wheels. He could do high kicks. He got the posability. He looks cool, and he has a really cool transformation that it's very much inspired by that original toy. It's great having something that reminds me of that time, but also just falls into the modern day aesthetic. Uh, Loved that toy. I'm so happy to have that. And that brings it up to number 7, our Armada Hotshot. I know there's probably a lot of people saying, "Oh, we got the Crash Bar, and we got the Insecticons, and they're all great figures. They're all great figures. Why do I give this spot to Hotshot? I'm biased. I love Armada. Again, I was born 2000, and on top of being growing up and like being shown G1 and watching reruns of Beast Wars and having Beast Wars on DVD, I was there when Armada was actually on TV. Like, it was one of the series that was in my timeline that was actually on air, and I fell in love with that series. I still love that series. It's one of my favorite Transformers series of all time. It had such a great story, and Hotshot as a character, it was really cool. So Armada was supposed to be a reboot of G1, and Hotshot was supposed to be a reimagining of Bumblebee, but that trademark was in use at that time, so they came up with the new name, Hotshot. And I'm personally, think of Hotshot and Bumblebee as two completely different characters. Always, I liked Bumblebee being that kind of scout, and then Hotshot being just kind of like the young warrior fighter that you kind of see. Um, just Hotshot, the toy. It seems like they took that original toy, updated it to like the modern aesthetic, and re-released it. It doesn't have all the electronic gimmicks and lights. I don't think it had lights. Did it have lights? No, it had like flip out gimmicks, I think, and like a spring loaded thing going on. This one still has kind of the same gimmicks, but it's just, it's not spring loaded or anything. You just flip up his wheel cannon or his bumper blades. That's not what they were called, but you Armada fans know what I'm talking about. The bumper of his car split open, and like he drove really fast and he could bump into things, just crash into other objects. But the sleekness, and I like both the regular Hotshot and the Power Links. They're both really cool. They're just different colors. But I only got the Power Links one mostly for Jolt. But has it has everything. It has all the little cues. It has the cannon. It has his little gun. It kind of annoys me how you can't hold the gun like in the middle, but that's just a small gripe. Again, it's the original Armada toy updated, made it a little more accurate, and that's all we really wanted. We got Armada back, and that's for me I love that and love him as a character, and I can't stop playing with that toy because of that. So That goes to Armada Hotshot. Now we're going to number 6. Toxitron. Uh, Toxitron could have been a little higher on this list. I like Toxitron. The only reason I gave Toxitron a little bit lower is because we already got 2 versions of this previously. We got the Laser Prime, we got the Scourge. So this wasn't necessarily a new figure that came out this year. It was just a new repaint. For me, it was the first time I got a chance to get that mold, which is one reason I have it on my list. Second one is I love the colors, the bright green, the magenta, the it just molds it all together. It kind of gives him a whole new vibe. Like he just looks like a menace. He looks like a toxic character. He looks very cool. Like how Scourge looks very compelled and proper, and like he doesn't mind waiting for victory. Toxitron just looks like he wants to cut off your head and servos. He wants to feed off your processors. He just doesn't look right. And I'm here for it. I love the brightness and absurd green, the magenta, and the his trailer with the ooze in it, and the playability, how it makes that battle station. Um, I'm sure if I got my Scourge when it first came out, I probably wouldn't feel as highly about the Toxitron. But as of right now, I like it. The fact that his back in the cab, he has a little flap that folds down to fill out those holes to give him rocket thrusters. Really cool. Like there's just aspects to this that gives him playability. It makes him definitely makes him pop out on the shelf. There's no way you're not going to notice him. He had a cool art on his box, which for me doesn't really mean a lot, but I like to keep some of those cool arts, and I want to cut it up and make it into like a giant poster at some point. But Toxitron was cool character. Um, who's not a character? He's just a repaint, repaint on a concept character, if you will. And yeah, thought he was really cool. I play with him. I pick him up on the shelf like at least once a week, once every 2 weeks. It's a cool character. That moves us up to Tarn, number 5. So Tarn, great character, great character. I loved Tarn. Like I was happy. Like Legacy had some of the greatest toys to come out, especially in Legacy Evolution. Like they had some of the greatest. Uh, I can make this list way longer. Making it 10 makes it a little hard. I just didn't have any of the cores, and I had very few of the leader classes. But the deluxe and Voyagers, um, I had most of, and they were phenomenal. A bunch of phenomenal tools. I really wish I could have got my hands on a Thunderwing and Skyquake. If I had any of those figures, I'm sure they would have made this list because they look awesome. They have playability, but I don't have them, so this is the list that we have. But Tarn, he looks like he comes out of the comic book. I love him as a character. Um, he was such an iconic role in the IDW comics. So whether you're a fan of those or not, he was just a menacing character. He was scary. He was freaking brutal. He went toe to toe with both Optimus and Megatron and walked away with barely a scratch. He is freaking such a cool character, and his design has everything about it that we needed. The purple, the his double fusion cannon. He got that cool mask that, yes, it's a mask, it's not his head sculpt, but you almost never see him take off the mask, so sculpting it as a head makes sense to me at least. Um, the tank mode. that looks cool. It looks how his tank mode looked in the comics, whether you want to call it a tank or not. It has treads, it has armor, it has a turret. That's a tank, and it looks cool. It has all the aspects that I was looking for. It, the sleekness, the design. For those wondering why I gave this to Tarn and not Bludgeon, Tarn came out first. Bludgeon is the repaint, and Bludgeon I like Bludgeon, but I don't feel is as iconic. Okay, scratch that. He is iconic, but I didn't personally grow up on the Marvel comics. I saw a little bit of the Marvel Transformer comics. So if I grew up on the Marvel comics, Bludgeon would have been a lot more meaningful to me. But for two, he looks a lot more like like it's based off uh IDW Bludgeon's design, which aesthetically he doesn't look right compared to the other pretenders that we got so far that's designed off their G1 designs. So it goes over to Tawn. Also, I just like the coloration on Tawn more. I like the dark purples. Leave me alone. This is my list. Tawn gets the spot. I think he looks cool. It's a fun toy. Smooth transformation. Yeah, I was very happy with them. That goes up to number 4, Leo Convoy. Yes, I know people are. I already hear people. How's Leo Convoy better than Tarn? Have you seen that lion mode? Like, what the hell is even that? As a toy, Leo Convoy has more going on for him. He has a more advanced transformation, a lot more moving parts, a lot more integrated. He has more gimmicks. He has the Lyo claws, Lyo missiles. You could kind of pull off the Lion Typhoon, not really, but you kind of can do it. Um, he has the Matrix of Leadership, and he is just icon. He is just as iconic as Tarn. For those who might disagree with me, um, he's prime. Yes, it's in a Japanese Beast Wars series, and Beast Wars, as far as like the length of Transformers, isn't as high. It's definitely not the lowest. I think right now that's probably Earthspark is probably like the lowest fandom on that list, but it's not that big when you take it to G1 or live action, uh, and then take it to Japanese Beast Wars, where a lot of people in America didn't want to watch the sub, they don't want to read it, so it's not as well known. But we all know that he was a lion at one point. Most of us, like major toy fans, knew that, and they're both just as iconic in their own right. They're both leaders. They're both powerful, skilled warriors. They both almost hold the same amount of respect in the series, but it all breaks down to there is more going on for Lyle Convoy's toy. I mean, he's just a cool character, and I'm all for the Beast figures. So I got my voice been a little raspy today, so sorry about that. Where am I? I was on number 4. Yes, number 3. Getting close to the bottom of this list, and I've just been jambling half the time. Number 3, Armada Megatron. Again, I didn't have a lot of the leaders. And I just included package refreshes, so that didn't include Blitzwing and I think Skyquake got a reissue, a re-release refresh, package refresh. I don't know. But I got Armada Megatron because, again, I like Armada, and 2, like, it was a fun figure. It does not have as much going on for it as, like, Toxitron does. Toxitron could have easily stole this space, but I think just it all breaks down to it's Megatron. David Kay's portrayal of Megatron was always top notch. He did a great job. Nothing against Frank Welker. I love Frank Welker and G1 Megatron and his voice, but Armada Megatron as a character, I feel, was a lot stronger. Was a lot stronger. Like a lot. Armada Megatron as a character had a lot more writing going towards his character. He, I feel personally, this is my opinion. I like his horns. I just like all of his design. Like he has all the cues from the original, like the animated, Megatron. It looks like he came off the screen, and I like how you could kind of do some of the same thing. You could do his, undersling like cannon. You could have it go to the front and do his Doomsday turret or whatever the heck that's called. And the fact that people paid just as much for this as they did for Toxitron or other thing, and Megatron literally all he does is his arms fold up and his legs fold up, and then he's a tank. And people paid just as much as they did with Laser Prime, Toxitron, Scourge, Blitzwing. Paid over $50 for a thing that just folds into a cube. That shows how iconic this character is. They didn't need to do a lot. It just had to be Megatron. And I'm just happy to have a Megatron. I never got a chance to have an Armada Megatron as a child, so having him now definitely in my mind makes him deserve the number 3 spot in my bracket. Bringing it to number 2, close. He's a close to number 1. He was so close. Like him and what I choose for number 1, side to side, or they, as I choose for number 1, side by side. Great characters, and they belong to Ultra Magnus. Ultra Magnus is cool character. He's just freaking. It's Ultra Magnus. We were asking for an Ultra Magnus toy that was good for a while. Like, we're like, when are we going to get a good G1 inspired Ultra Magnus? We want that G1 flavor, and they freaking delivered. Sam, Mark, and Aaron. I don't even know if Sam worked on it, but Sam does a lot of the studio series, so maybe. Those 3, and then B-Mac, they've been killing it. They've just been knocking things out of the park. Ultra Magnus having the tearaway limbs, he has the Matrix, he has a phenomenal car mode, and I can't say anything that I already didn't say in the review that I did. So if you want to go watch a review and character breakdown, go do that. You can watch that on my channel. But such a great toy. He is, for as big as he is, he could do a high kick. He has blast effects, gimmicks. He's a fun toy. Just phenomenal. It looks good, feels good, plays well. You could it actually functions as a vehicle transportation truck. You could put your deluxes and mini bots on that and deliver them around, which is freaking nuts. That's cool. Like, such a great character. And a lot of you are probably thinking, oh, well, here it goes. This is, your number 1 figure, all hopping on the boat, like, on the huge bandwagon. And yes, I am hopping on that bandwagon. Armada Optimus Megatron is the GOAT, the number 1 that takes the place this year, in my opinion, for multiple reasons. 1, so much playability. The playability in Armada Megatron is, I would say, he has 2 robot modes. He has his base robot mode and his super mode. He has his truck mode, with his really cool trailer. He has a combat like base mode, right? He has his matrix. He had like his transformation is fun, it's fluent. It looks like Armada Megatron in both of their in all three of his modes. His super mode looks like Armada Optimus. He looks like Armada Optimus's super mode. He looks like Armada Optimus's vehicle mode. Armada Optimus's base robot mode. Um, his design has always been one of my favorite Optimus designs out there. The design of it was cool. It was when they first time drifting away from that Optimus designs, and he takes the T, dude. He takes that W home with him because it has tons of playability. It looks fun. It sold super well. Like, it has everything you want as a Transformer toy, and I think that this is the peak of modern day Transformers. Like, the original Armada Prime was one of the best toys that came out of that time, and his legs didn't even move in super mode. It was just like a auto transformation that went up. People like me, people who grew up in the 80s and 90s, who first started Transformers, big robots didn't get a lot of posability. I mean, G1 didn't get a lot of posability in general. When it went over to Beast Wars, that's when we started getting some ball joints. We started getting some of these gimmicks and whatnot. And then, like anybody who remembers Cybertron Mega Starscream, that was a cool toy back in the day. Does not pose at all. Like, you barely do anything with it. So the fact that you could get something of that size, and you could do him doing like a Superman pose, freaking high kicks, have them actually walking and whatnot. Like, you could play with them as a toy and also do stop motions with them as a collector. It checks up off of the boxes, and I feel he definitely deserves #1 on this list. Like, there's so much going on with this toy that you just can't overlook it. Honorable mentions: the Insecticons that came out. They looks really cool. God love the Insecticons, but we knew that there would be Insecticons coming out because they started that back in 2022. The Junkion modulators, those were cool. I really thought those were unique. I play with those fucking weekly. And then Beachcomber, because you got to respect the mini bots, and we don't have a lot of pacifists out there to really add in that storyline. Like, we have a lot of soldiers, but those pacifist characters kind of added to that storyline in the G1 show. So it was really nice to have Beachcomber. And then they re-released Tarantulas, the package refresh, and I think he came out more than when he was in Legacy. So honorable mention for Tarantulas for being just the greatest Tarantulas we're probably ever going to get. And that is it. That was through my list. Making sure I go through everything. Yeah, that is my list of the top 10 figures of 2023. Different price points. They all take my bracket. I got my core, my deluxes, my Voyagers, and whatever, and I'm so excited for 2024. I can't wait for my Tasmanian kid to come in. If I already got my Tasmanian kid, he definitely would have taken my core class bracket, but don't have him yet. So that was 2023. I hope you all enjoyed your year, and I hope that next year might get better for any of you guys who might be struggling out there in YouTube Nation and in our fandom. Much love to all of you. With nothing more to discuss, nothing more to talk about, wrap this up. This is Happy Kid Emo. Say it! Remember, there's nothing wrong with being as long as you're feeling free and you're doing you. Do what you want to do. Do what you want to do. It's your life. It's your money. Don't let anybody tell you you are too old to play, collect, or have fun. until next year.